Hi, YouTube world. Today's gonna be a doozy. I'm gonna go over fascism. I have a lot of notes. Because it seems that it's here, and it shouldn't be. And I think that not enough people are aware that it's here, which could make a bigger problem in the future. First, before I get into fascism, I need to also go over the political movement that was created to fight fascism, which is Antifa, which is shorthand for anti-fascism. The Antifa movement started, I believe, in the 1920s, shortly after Mussolini took over in Italy, and it was a movement that was against the fascist regime, which I'm going to go over fascism in a second. I just, a lot of people on both sides say that Antifa is this group that apparently, meets weekly and goes out destroying and rioting and looting and all this stuff. But they're not. It's just a political movement. It's just being against fascism. And once I explain fascism, it's pretty much something that all Americans are against. Like, America isn't a fascist country. It never has been. I'd like to say it never will be, but who knows at this point. Okay, so there was an increase of Antifa movements after World War II because the world saw how dangerous fascism really is. And I wrote down the fascist regimes that we've had in history so people kind of know more about fascism because we've all learned about it in our history books. There's Mussolini, who ruled from 1922 to 1943. He was Italy. There's, of course, Hitler, who we all know about. He ruled from 1933 to 1945. He was in Germany. And there's also Francisco Franco. He was 1936 to 1975. He was in Spain. So now there's different types of dictatorship. I'm only going over fascist dictators. And you'll see if anything sounds familiar. Okay, so fascism often involves state control or regulation of the economy. That's something like blocking funds to after school programs because you don't feel that it aligns with your agenda, even though the funds have already been approved. This is what Trump is doing right now. He is blocking funds and for several different things. The most recent one that I read is for the after school programs. And, after school programs, that's like bands, sports, debate club, different things for kids to do after school. It really helps the parents because a lot of parents work from like until 4, 5, 6, whatever. So this is just a place for kids. But he won't release the funding, even though it's approved. So that right there is an example of how he's being a fascist. Fascist regimes frequently employ propaganda to shape public opinion and mobilize support for their policies. Oh, propaganda. There's a lot of examples of this. So, like showing people a photoshopped image and saying that it's not photoshopped, so they'll support your policies of and deporting people that shouldn't be getting deported. Or showing photos from the Congo, when he was trying to explain why he's bringing in people from South Africa, which is fine. Like, I'm not against immigration. I just think that it's weird to block immigrants from coming in unless they're white. It just seems a little messed up to me. Oh, more propaganda could be like saying Obama was born in Kenya when we all saw the birth certificate and he was born in Hawaii. Just random BS that people spew to get the people to side with their. It's not really policies to me. I don't really know what kind of policies Trump is. I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's just fascism. I mean, there isn't really any policies except hate immigrants because they're poisoning the country. Let's get them all out. And I think at one point he said drill, drill, drill. And I remember in September 2017, he said we'll have healthcare in 2 weeks. So, any day now. Let's go back to the examples of him being a fascist. Okay. Fascist regimes often utilize violence and intimidation to maintain control and force their ideology. let's see, we're seeing the intimidation towards LA, New York, and now Washington, D.C. He threatens people that are running. He's threatened to deport the mayor of, not the mayor of New York. Yeah, he's not even a mayor. He just won a primary and they're bugging. That's crazy. Okay. January 6th, we all saw intimidation, utilized violence and imitation to maintain control. We saw that with January 6th. Let's see. Oh, he's also intimidating Brazil because this is, they will use violence and intimidation, not just domestically, internationally as well. And right now they're threatening Brazil with 50% tariffs because Trump doesn't like what their government is doing to one of their governors or an elected official that tried to steal their election and try to overthrow their government. They're, holding him accountable for what he did, and Trump doesn't like that because Trump did the same thing and he doesn't want to be held accountable. So, and you know what? Even if you don't agree with what Brazil is doing, mind your business. It's not our country. To try to control their policies by threatening them with tariffs is just... Oh, and I wrote down a quote that he said about Brazil. He said, he says, it's a witch hunt that must end immediately. I know those words. Okay. So yeah, that's another example of fascism. Okay, here's another one. Fascism often promotes a belief in natural social hierarchies with a strong emphasis on obedience to authority. Examples of this would be that rhetoric, if you have to obey the law or you might get shot. That whole like I guess part of police brutality. I'm not against police. I know that there's a lot of good police officers out there, especially the ones on Capitol Hill, the ones that Trump supporters attacked. That breaks my heart. I don't think that anyone should be violent towards any police. But the whole emphasis on the obedience to authority, it is in the fascist playbook. And I'm not saying break the law. I'm just saying that laws aren't always morally correct. I don't know if that's the right phrase. I don't know. Nazis followed the law. Slave owners followed the law. This whole obey my authority thing, it's just like a little creepy, like it's a slippery slope. It's not the best. And ICE. ICE are people with, like the whole obedience to authority. Like, wouldn't you be uncomfortable if people in masks, no warrant, no badges, no ID, just grabbed you and threw you in a van? Like, wouldn't you fight back? I would probably fight back because I'd be freaking out because I don't understand why am I being grabbed. Like, it's probably a reflex to do that. And, people are just like, oh, you need to just accept it. You need to follow their law or whatever. Yeah, it's fascism. Okay, also, let's go to another example. I'm like a little anxious. I have a little bit of anxiety right now because it is kind of scary. I'm talking about stuff that's happening in America. It's weird because America's not supposed to be like this at all. But okay. Fascism stands in opposition to liberal democracy with the emphasis on individual rights and freedoms. I heard the American president say on TV, I hate Democrats. So he just said that he hates like half the country. I'm personally not a Democrat. I'm more of an independent. I look and like at both sides. Although one side is kind of pissing me off more than usual lately. But anyways, I want to stay on point. For a president to say he hates half the country, that's pretty bad. And fascism, they do demonize liberals. The next point is fascism rejects communism, often seeing it as a threat to national unity and traditional social hierarchies. I don't know a lot about communism. I know in some countries it's where, like the government has everything and like everybody else stays poor. But then when I was trying to do some research, I see that America has communists. So when Trump is calling certain political figures communists, he's not actually calling the ones that are communists. He's just using it as an insult. And it's weird because as I was searching, trying to find people in the American Communist Party, I found someone named Jackson Hinkle who calls himself a MAGA communist. So Trump is trying to use the word communist as an insult to freak out his voters, but he has, I mean, I don't know if this person knows Trump or is just a Trump fan. Said that he was a political commentator. Jackson Hinkle. I don't know. I don't know much about communists. I personally don't support communists. I usually lean more towards like Democrat and independent policies. So I can't really talk much about communists, but I'm just mentioning it because fascists use the term communist as like one of those fear-mongering words to try and freak people out. He's calling the person that just ran for mayor, that's who he's calling a communist. But I'm pretty sure he's a democratic socialist. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. But trying to freak people out and make people think that they're like domestic terrorists all because of their political party is stupid. And I'd say the same thing towards Republicans. This is different. Fascism is I'm never going to support it. I'm never going to be okay with it. And it should not be in our country. Another thing that fascists do, fascism often glorifies military power and the use of force, both domestically and international relations. Internationally, he's been threatening Greenland, Canada, Panama Canal. Is that all of them? I think that's all of them. Did he threaten anybody else? He could have. I'm pretty sure I got them all. That's an example of force internationally. Domestically would be, and a good example would be having a military parade for your birthday. And I know that he says that it was for the Army. So I wrote down the Navy, their birthday will be October 13th. Let's see if there's a party for them. Marine Corps, November 10th. Let's see if there's a party for them. Coast Guard it's not going to be 250th. It'll be 234 years on August 4th. And the Air Force, they're the baby. They're only 77 years old. There's not going to be any celebrations for them. There's never been a military parade ever in this country. Wait, no. I think for a victory, like after a war, I think we had a military parade because we were celebrating the end of a war. But I'm pretty sure it only happened one time. So having military parades is not something that America does. He did it because he wanted to celebrate his birthday, because he wants a military parade. He was caught on hot mic when he was in North Korea during one of the military parades saying that he wants what Kim Jong-un has. That's online. You can look it up. There's audio. He was talking to the dude from Fox and Friends. I don't know his name, but he's someone from Fox and Friends. And he also said it at another time, but now I can't remember. Oh, his first term, he wanted to do this. But his first term, I will say that he did actually hire people that were qualified for their positions. That's why he was firing people so much, because they would tell him no when he wanted to do something. Like, that's not constitutional. You can't do that. And one of the things was he wanted to throw himself a little birthday parade. So now he used it this time, and he used the 250th birthday as an excuse to celebrate himself. And we all see how that party turned out. It sucked. All right. So anyways, I also wrote down some examples of what Hitler did and seeing if it sounds familiar to people. Hitler ruled through decrees and orders effectively by passing the legal system. Trump has been signing executive orders they've been blocked by judges, but then it goes to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court usually sides with them, or it goes back to the other court. It's going back and forth. It's crazy because he's not following the law at all. Hitler seized power through legal means initially, but quickly eliminated opposition and established a one-party system. He's constantly demonizing and like really horrible to half the country, the Democrats, your neighbors, your coworkers, your family members. Like, it bothered me too when people were talking bad about Republicans, because we're supposed to all, work together and be together. But now there's a group of Republicans that seem to be Nazis. Like, I'm explaining how fascism is here in America, and the people that support fascism are well known as the Nazis. And that's why there's some Trump voters that I would not invite over. Okay, so anyway, fascist dictators typically rise to power through a combination of exploiting crisis, We see that. Employing violence and intimidation. We see that. Manipulating democratic process and fostering a cult of personality. I sang that in my head. CM Punk. Anyway, manipulating democratic process. The rigging of the elections, like putting doubt in our elections, trying to hire fake electors, trying to change the results. He tried to do that in Georgia. Like, I know he was only charged and convicted in New York, but there's a lot more. Like, he was arrested for way more than just that New York case. He just used the system to stay out of jail. And then America put him back in the White House. So that was stupid. Fear and scapegoating is something else that they do. And the fascists often fear. Wait, what did I write? My handwriting looks like chicken scratch. That's horrible. Often targeting minority groups or political opponents and using them as scapegoats, like blaming all the problems on Democrats or Biden or Obama or Hillary's emails are somehow in there. It's just, instead of just fixing the problem, they just have to play the blame game. Okay, this might be the longest video I've ever made, and I'm sorry for that, but fascism is seriously here. Like, it's here right now in our country. And it's gross. It shouldn't be here. It doesn't belong here. Can we do better, America? Maybe, hopefully, I helped people understand exactly what Antifa is supposed to be and what fascism is and how it is here. You do not want a dictator like Trump in charge for long, because the damage he can do, it's not going to be fixable. Fascism should bother every American. Obviously, it won't bother the Nazis. They love it. But we're not supposed to be a country of Nazis. Let's not go down the Nazi road. Let's go with our ancestors who fought in World War II. I shouldn't say ancestors. It's like my great uncle that did it. So that's not ancestors. It's just family. Family fought on the right side. Our country always fought on the right side. So let's keep doing that. Okay. All right. I'm done rambling. Stay safe out there. Be kind to people. It's crazy out there. Okay. Bye, YouTube.